get in this MECP ecosystem, if you will. So ironically, MECP and MEA really both have the same trajectory when it comes to education. We want the retailers to all have a higher education when it comes to doing their job well. That's for a multitude of factors. That's for installation reliability. That's sales success. Liability reduction. All of those types of things that go on in your business are all very important. And getting proper training on how to do things, whether it's installing something, selling the system appropriately, selling the right parts for a vehicle, whatever it is, we want to make sure that we're giving you the tools along that path. So MECP, of course, has online certification courses. So we'll present content to you, test you on that. And there's some optional tests as you go through the courses with a certification exam at the end. And consequently, MEA hosts the largest, trade show that's devoted to education. They do that 3 times a year, and that is the MEA Knowledge Fest, right? So the two trajectories that we have are parallel. We're both trying to accomplish the same mission when it comes to education. So it makes great sense that we're good partners in that effort. Okay. So let's kick some things off. So that it looks like the group's getting a little bit bigger here. So if you guys are just jumping in, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. I want to talk about certification and why it should matter, really in your shop or to you personally. Now, I don't know who all of you are in the group. We might have some shop owners, we might have some employees, we might have some independent guys that are kind of the one-man show. Whatever it is, certification should play a part in your business and or career. Part of the reason for that is just kind of the ongoing education that you have to have when it comes to doing this job well. Okay. Um, I've often heard throughout the years that well, I was certified, a long time ago, right? And usually it was at the like entry level, of course. And I start talking to somebody about, hey, that's great. Well, let's get you recertified. I don't have the time for that. That's cool, right? I'm not sure what they expect the response to be, but to be on that. But it's usually not me kind of coming back at them with, well, okay, so how long has it been since you've been certified? And if it's more than just a year or two, um, I just pounce on them. And Chris Rivas is in the group here. He knows this pretty well. He's seen this in action at some of the trade shows. But we, I talk a lot about how much the cars and the technology and both on products and vehicle side change so rapidly. And one of my favorite quotes that I've often told in my trainings is it's very important for a chef to keep his knife sharp in the kitchen, right? And you, as a technician or a salesperson in your store, even that one man band type guy, if you're one of those, like you've got to stay sharp. You've got to refine your craft, and without taking the time. And it doesn't take long. I mean, these courses are not, college courses that take 3 or 4 years to accomplish. The beginner apprentice level is an 8 to 10 hour thing if you have no experience. If you've been in this, you can kind of go through and review some things and do the self checks and get certified pretty quickly. We have some people that are able to do that in an hour or two, right? So just you should take the time to better yourself, refine your craft a bit, get better at your job on a lot of fronts, right? So one of the things that we kind of harp on, and I am notorious for this, is that legitimacy behind something, right? So uh, if I start talking to somebody at a trade show, or I walk into your store and you tell me, "Oh yeah, I've been doing this for 30 years," well, that's great. Prove it. I look around the store and maybe the store's got some dust on some old plaques from like 1996 when I got started, or, you know, 2012 or something like that. And those are great, but what have you done for me lately? What have you done to kind of get that education updated? What have you done to kind of bring yourself up to speed with the latest and greatest technology and products? These are the things that your consumers are looking for. Okay. Um, you may have been doing this for a long time. You may have a ton of experience, right? And that's awesome. I don't discount that at all. What you should do is have some sort of legitimate way to prove it, right? So just telling somebody something or referencing an old article from some worn out magazine that you like had plastered to the wall isn't legitimacy, right? Okay. It's not that thing that they can kind of like say, oh, this guy knows his stuff. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here real quick. I don't know if, Lynn, if you can let me know if you guys see this. Should be good. Awesome. Okay, cool. So the MECP.com website is where you can access literally everything in the MECP world. Okay. And the very first thing when I purchased the company from the Consumer Technology Association was just hammer down on legitimacy. So the very first page that I put on this website was the verification tab. Okay. So when you visit MECP.com, there's a little magnifying glass over here that you can click. There's also under verification, a link to verify credentials. Or under vehicle owners, you can click here to find a certified specialist or technician, right? Any of those kind of go to the same spots. So there's multiple ways to get to this in the website. But if you click this verification tab, this brings up a cool little screen where you can put in anybody's last name or any portion of their name and look them up in the industry. Okay. So I'll put my last name here and it will bring back both me and my wife. My wife is certified because she helps run MECP with me. And it lists my current certifications, right? So this is a real-time verification tool. This is like the second you pass the course, our system's going to action, creating your certificate on the back end, updating your profile, and updating this database that is now publicly visible for anybody on the planet to verify you. Okay. And we're the only company on the planet right now that has a real-time certification verification tool. Okay. So that's pretty awesome stuff. This is great for an employer. Maybe you're trying to find somebody who to work for you, right? And the guys are coming in. Hopefully, a lot of them, probably not, but you're getting some candidates walking in. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm certified." That's a very common thing, right? "Oh yeah, I'm certified." All you've got to do is look them up here. If they don't show up, they're not certified. Okay. If we put in something here that I'm just gonna put some random letters in, and sorry, no results. You can actually click this. If you think that guy might be telling the truth, and he swears he is, you can click this email right here and send us a message and say, "Hey, listen, this guy swears he is. Let's check this out." Our admin team will reply with any data that we have to prove or disprove that's correct. Okay. 99.9% of the time it's always correct, right? So it's there's no issue with that. There may be an instance where the guy just took something and maybe his account was flagged for a manual review or something, so there might be a couple hour delay or something like that. But most of the time there's no difference in what's actually happening on the database side and what the legitimate reason for that is. Okay. So legitimacy is huge. So the verification for an individual is great for an employer. Like these guys are coming in, you want to verify that they are. You can actually see their certification, kind of what they're credentialed in, which is awesome, right? The other one is as you might be looking to prove something to a customer. Maybe you're looking for new business. So as an employer, as a store owner, this is important for you. Maybe you want to market to Tesla owners in the area. Maybe you want to get a little bit more familiar with hybrid and electric vehicles. We literally just launched a course a couple weeks ago that's EV and hybrid installation technology. So you can actually get up to speed, get familiar with kind of the ins and outs of identifying those vehicles, being able to work on them safely, knowing the tools and the procedures that you have to have and know before you actually dive into those jobs if you're not doing those already. Those are very important things. Plus, if you're marketing to this type of customer, wouldn't it be great to show them that you're certified with this level of work? That would be great. Okay. One keynote that I want to point out, it's very important to know, and that is MECP certification doesn't necessarily mean you're a great installer. Okay. This is a common thing throughout the years where I've heard especially an employer is like, oh man, I hired a guy who was MECP certified and he sucked, right? That's very possible. Okay. There are also doctors and lawyers and politicians that suck too, right? So they've all been to school and they've all got degrees in those fields, right? So it's very important to understand that the skills certification tests that we provide, they actually acknowledge that they've been exposed to the information and they can retain and process that information to be able to pass the test. That doesn't mean they're a good person, a good employee, that they're responsible with showing up on time. None of those things are tested on, nor can we verify those things remotely, right? So just know that as an employer. It's kind of an important point there. All right.
Hey,
So
Chris.
yeah, go ahead.
I just thought I would pause for a moment to see if anyone has questions, and also just to let everyone here know that if you do have questions, feel free to place them in the chat as they come up in your head so you don't forget them, and then we'll pause to ask. So if anyone has a question, feel free to unmute yourself and ask away. Yeah. So far, so great, Chris. This is awesome info.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
like how you can real time check and see a consumer can check their technician. I really like that.
That was like I say, the first thing that we did when we created the new site, just to bring the legitimacy back, because everybody on the planet was quote unquote MECP certified, and it turns out most of them weren't, right? And so, of course, it led to a big business spike when we launched, right? Because everybody realized that they could be found out, so it was great. But on the other hand, this is something that's used now, right? So if no questions, I'll move along. You guys feel free to unmute yourself and speak up if you've got a question about something I'm pointing out. I'm happy to pause and address whatever it is. Okay. So let's go to another, let's just go to the home screen again, and let's go to another kind of verification and legitimacy tool here. And that is the retail locator. Okay. So this navigation button here, or under the verification tab, you can click find a certified tech or specialist, or under vehicle owner, you can do the same thing. All of those take you to the same exact page. And that is our retail location finder. You're trying to find, as a consumer, right, a tech or specialist in your area. Okay. So this map will default to your local area. So if you pull it up while we're going through this on your own computer, that's great. If you don't see anybody locally, hey, that's a great opportunity for you to get in there and get somebody linked to your location so you show up on this map, right? But let's go ahead and walk through an example here. So this is pulling up my address here in Nashville. And I've got my sample company live right now, just so you guys can see it, Stark Industries, right? If you guys couldn't tell, I'm a Tony Stark fan. But this list will show you all of the local technicians at the local facilities here that are available. Okay. Pretty awesome stuff. This is where consumers come to try to find people like yourselves to do work on their vehicles. Okay. So let's actually go with one of the local guys, Titan Motoring here. They actually actively use this as part of their quote and sales pitch during a big sale. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with Titan Motoring. They do a lot of really big jobs, like really expensive jobs, and they'll do a quote for somebody, probably even if it's just like a standard stereo upgrade, probably a little bit higher price than some of the local competitors, right? So sometimes they'll get a little bit of kickback and be like, listen, is there anybody that could do it a little bit cheaper? And what Phil, the owner of Titan, does, it's actually great. He's like, yeah, you know what? We support anybody on this location tool. They can do your job for you, no problem, and they're certified to do it. So go ahead and take a look for yourself. Any of these people would service you pretty well. Okay. But what he's doing is he's using a sales pitch. Okay. So let's go ahead and you see all these different options here. Let's look at Titan Motoring's details, right? So if you click view details, they've got their logo, they've got their contact info, and you as a company or store owner manage all of these details that are visible. Okay. They've got a picture of their team up front there. And then right below that, we show that, hey, they're an MEA preferred network member, which is awesome, right? That means something. And then it shows off all of the accolades they've won recently. Okay, so Expediter of the Year this year. They've got a history of top three or top, installers, expediter stuff, all kinds of good stuff on here, right? So legitimately a good shop that is consistent as well. Okay. Below that, it shows that they've currently got 2 guys there certified. They just recently had some turnover there. But it shows that what they are certified at, and even shows their MEA awards that they have won too. Okay. Pretty awesome stuff. He actually uses this as part of the sales pitch, because if you go back to this address search and look here, let's pull up, I don't know, let's pull up Vega, which was the very next one. Great company. I know the Vega couple very well. Great place and phenomenal work, right? But if you look at this page, they're an MEA preferred network member for sure. But Ashley is there, and she's only apprentice certified, right? And that's it. Now they have a staff of about 12 people there, but she's the only one currently certified. So when you're looking at that as a consumer, okay, which one would you pay more to get the work done at, right? This is a competitive advantage that Titan is using during their sales pitch, right? So it turns out when Phil gives somebody that link, they usually call him back and like, you know what? Listen, I've done my research. Let's go ahead and get this scheduled, which is awesome. That's kind of the nail in the coffin there for the sale. Getting things done and showing off that you are well credentialed to do that work. It's pretty cool stuff for sure. Okay. So this is a cool example, but as a store owner, as a retailer, it's super important to manage your business. So there's a couple different ways that we give you tools to kind of help do that a little bit more efficiently here. One is on this retail locator that's on the screen here, you don't show up here unless your location has somebody that's currently certified. So this isn't like this also is real time, just like our verification badge. This is not some sort of locator that gets forgotten about or abandoned and doesn't get the data updated regularly or anything like that. This is a real time active retail locator. Okay. So if you don't have somebody that has a current certification and they're linked to your location, then you don't show up on the locator. Okay. So it's pretty cool stuff. We're not going to send somebody to a location that doesn't have somebody that's currently certified. That's what it boils down to. All right. Now, as a store owner, you'll want to get your people certified, right? So you'll be able to log in to your MECP profile. Once that's created, once you are a company admin for your location, you'll be exposed to some company benefits. If you are an MEA member, I think everybody here is, but we may have some people that are contemplating whether to be one or not. That's awesome too. Highly suggest it. But you will be exposed to company benefits, right? So in your MECP profile, if you click this company benefits tab, this will pop up with some specific things that are available to your company. And right off the bat, you'll see that you get 20% off any of the coupon codes to get your employees certified. That's a partnership with MEA that MECP has to provide more value for you as an MEA member, right? We fully support that organization and they fully support us, right? So really kind of a good full circle thing there, right? If you click this button here, it will take you out to our MECP Pro Shop page, and this allows you to build the purchase to suit your people, right? So you should evaluate who you have on your staff. Maybe you've got 2 salespeople, so product technology specialist courses, right? So you'll need 2 of those. Maybe you've got 2 or 3 technicians. One's a beginner. Let's start him off with apprentice. Another one's been doing it for 30 years, right? So let's get him the expert level, okay? So you can actually add all of those courses. I'm just going to select a few here, and we'll add those to the cart. Let's go ahead and add another one too. And once we go to the cart, you'll see that your discount is already applied in here, okay? So you're already getting the money off, okay? So that 20% is already built into that link. You've got to access that through your MECP profile though, okay? That's not a link that you'll just get shared without approval, okay? So once you've done that, once you've got those coupon codes, you make that purchase, you'll get an email with those coupon codes and links to the courses, and you issue those to your employees. This is where the cool, powerful part comes in, right? So as your company info tab here, if you click this tab, this shows you that you've got 8 linked company members under Stark Industries, which is pretty awesome. We've got 1 location. And this is all the detail information that I want, right? This is the contact info that I need. I can edit the company details, how I want them to show up on the company page. And then I can manage all of my people here, right? So let's say I want to view my existing crew. Okay. Let's pull these guys up and we'll scroll down and we will see all the different people that are in the company. So Pepper Potts, Rhodey, Steve Rogers, good old Captain America, all these guys are on my staff at Stark Industries, right? And here's the cool part. Look at all this information you've got. If they're linked to your location, as a company admin, you get to see real-time telemetry of their course progress. Okay. So take Pepper Potts, for instance. She passed on 1/31/2008 for the first time. She's good through 6/30 of 26. Okay. She has spent 5.5 hours this year on the course. She got 100%. She's a rock star. Okay. I can view and print her certificate, so you don't have to go ask your employee to print it off and bring it in or send you a file, which they may not be good at. You can view and print this right here, okay? This brings up a print quality PDF that you can print yourself or that you can have professionally printed. In our Pro Shop, we can actually print those for you and send them to you as well, okay? If, let's say, Pepper leaves the company, I can actually remove her here and she's gone. No big deal. It moves on, right? If I'm talking to Captain America here and he's registered as a product technology specialist, okay, he's accomplished that. That's awesome. But he says, no, man, I've been working on my other course too. I don't know what the deal is. I'm skilled certified, I swear, right? And you're going to have employees like that for sure. What I can do is I can scroll down to the pending members and see that he just has not yet completed his apprentice course. Okay. So pretty awesome stuff there. What you can see is the current status of all your employees, so you don't have to bug them, or you can do a self check, right, and see just how honest they're being. If you talk to your employee and say, hey, listen, how's it going? Are you almost done? They're like, oh, yeah, I've just got a little bit more to go and I'm ready to rock. And you see that they've only done like 3 of the 60 units in the course, and they've only spent 30 minutes on it. Then you can coach them up from there, right? So it gives you some power and some tools to help manage your crew effectively. All right. So, Lynn, do we want to stop here and get any questions, or does anybody have anything that they want to dive deeper on? Just keep rocking
This
and
is
rolling.
such good info, Chris. Yeah. I mean, if anybody, again, if you want to put anything in the chat, feel free. If you want to unmute yourself, please feel free. If
Awesome.
you don't know how to
Hey,
unmute
Chris,
yourself, you can wave.
yeah, Chris, can you review the levels of certification and the
Yeah,
different skill sets?
yeah, for sure. So let me do one more thing before we dive into that. Let me show off the profile, which is where you're kind of accessing the company info, and then we'll jump over to the courses. So in my current profile, this is Tony Stark's profile as the example here. So these are the certifications that he currently has. This shows the same real-time telemetry that the company admin would see. Okay, so all the scores, all the time spent, and all of that stuff. We've given you as a member inside with the MECP profile the ability to turn the scores off on your profile. The company admin will still see them, right? If you're linked to a location. But some of our technicians and specialists are going out to maybe a fleet lot and they want to show somebody that they're fleet certified, but they don't want somebody to see that they got like an 80% and just barely passed, right? The old saying is like, what do they call the guy who barely passed his medical courses? They still call him a doctor, right? So his still guy's still fleet certified. He doesn't want anybody to see that he barely passed, right? So what I can do is I can go down here and click to hide my exam scores from my personal profile. Okay, so that refreshes the page. And if you go up here, all the telemetry is hidden from those certificates, right? So just a way for you to clean that up and make it presentable to show somebody on the fly. Okay. You can also print your own certificates and visit the course right from here as well. Okay. So really cool stuff. Uh, so let's dive into kind of what these mean. You see some different, courses here: expert installation technician, fleet, security. The way to access any course that is publicly available is to click the Get Certified tab up here on the MECP.com website. Okay. Now, keep in mind, as a company admin and an MEA member, you don't want to do this as that admin, because you want to go in your profile and click the link to purchase them at the 20% off discount. That's the value that we're bringing to you, right? Or that MEA is bringing to you. So this is just how a normal person, general public, would go in and try to find a course that they want. But this is powerful for you to understand what a course includes. Okay, so let's dive in here. Let's talk about the new one that we just launched, the EV and hybrid vehicle installation specialist, right? So if you click on any course on this page, you will bring up a course overview page, right? And on this course overview, it tells you all about the course. It's going to give you the level, which this one is a specialist course. It's going to tell you about how long it's going to take to get through all the learning content and take the exam. This shows you the cost for the renewals and the how often it renews and all of that stuff. Right here is a reminder that if you personally are certified, upgrading to another course is less expensive than just buying the course outright. Okay. So we always offer an upgrade discount. So if you're going from skilled level and you want to get the EV course, it's much less expensive to upgrade from that skilled to this course. And so this right here is reminding you that on this page. Okay. But anyway, this tells you about the course here. And as you scroll down, this is the important part. So as an employer or store manager, this is where you need to kind of check this out. This tells you everything that the course covers, every section, what it goes over, how many questions are in each section, etc. It even tells you how many questions are on that final exam at the end. Okay. So that's the information you need to determine which course or courses your staff needs to be certified at. Okay. And it also will give you some information to help market too. You could use some of this text on this page to help market to your, your local, area there to new types of business, right? So fleet, electric, hybrid vehicles, whatever it is that you want to kind of attack next, you've got the data here to kind of start marketing to those people well. Okay.
Hey, Chris.
I saw a question pop in. What's up?
Perfect. I was just gonna say, check the chat there.
Okay, let me check it out here.
Is any available in an audiobook?
There's no audiobooks, but you can have your browser read it to you. So same difference. You do have to have an internet connection for the courses and for that read back on the browser. Okay.
Got it.
Now, keep in mind that there's no way to read a diagram. There's no way to read out the questions and or reply with answers on the self kind of check on any of the courses. So what we can do, let's go back to the courses page here. Let's check out one of the courses that's already kind of been done. So the expert level course, you see continue here. If you see a price here, then you have not enrolled in it yet. If you see continue, you're already enrolled, and just click that to visit the course. Easy enough. So this course has already been done by me, so easy enough. I can go in to any one of these sections and review it again. Okay, I've got access to the course and even retaking the exam if I wanted to try to do better the entire time period that I purchased. So for most of our courses, we offer either a 1 or 2 year option. I'm a big proponent of 1 year because I want the technician or specialist to keep it top of mind and always be refreshed. 2 year is really the same content overall. The exam is a little bit tougher because we need to make sure that just in case you don't end up reviewing it, over that course of 2 years that you're prepared to go that length of time without a review, right? So that the exam at the end of that 2 year one is a little bit deeper, more questions, a little bit more time consuming, right? But we just want to make sure you're prepared for the 2 years, okay? Otherwise, it's the same learning content. Either of them, 1 or 2 year, uh, are always updated with the latest data, all right? So I see another question real quick. Are there prerequisites or you can just take any course? Great question. So there's only 2 courses that have prerequisites currently that are publicly available. Okay. So apprentice does not require any. Skilled requires that you have passed the apprentice before your skilled will be live. Okay. So when you purchase the skilled, it includes the apprentice course as well. So $99 for apprentice, and this is retail pricing, not your MEA discount. $99 for apprentice, $129 for skilled, but it includes the apprentice, right? You'll have to accomplish both to be skilled level. What often comes up is a guy will dive in and do the skilled exam first, or go through the course, do the exam, and be done. And then he doesn't show up on the verification tool. So he'll contact us and ask why. When in his profile, it's telling him he hasn't done the required prerequisite of the apprentice, right? So we just advise him, hey, once you do the apprentice, you're good to go. And then he does that and we're good. You know, everybody's happy, right? So the skilled requires apprentice. Expert requires both skilled and apprentice. And that price for expert, which is $169 for the 1 year, includes both the skilled and apprentice courses as well. Okay, so it's an all-inclusive price when you purchase those. Keep in mind that if you purchase apprentice, maybe you're just like, I don't want to get overwhelmed. Let me just dive in with apprentice first. You can upgrade from apprentice to skilled for the price difference. So remember I said that the apprentice was $99, skilled is $129. So you go in your profile after you've completed apprentice, you can upgrade to skilled for $30. So easy enough, right? So we're not trying to make you jump through hoops or anything like that. We want to make this as easy to access as possible. Okay. And we don't want this to be scary. Frankly, some people shy away from certification because they're nervous, right? Or they don't feel like they'd be able to punch through some of the categories. Maybe they just aren't as well versed in some of these things, or maybe they're not good at taking tests. All of that's out the window. What we've done on our end is every single bit of the learning content and the exams themselves have a 99% or higher readability and comprehension rate. Okay. We make sure we do that so you can understand the content that's in there. So let's take a peek at what I'm talking about. Let's go in and see. Let's talk about some advanced electronic components here. Let's review this section again. You'll see here that there's going to be a variety of different things you run into in a course, right? So this is just very simple, just some text. You want to click true just to acknowledge that you've seen that and you can move on. You do not have to answer any of the questions in these sections. That's optional. It's self-testing. They're not graded. That's not part of your exam, okay? So you don't have to do all those or anything like that. You do have to visit each section, and depending on the course, there is some time limits or ways that you open those sections to unlock the exam at the end. All right, not too complicated. So you can kind of punch through it if you know your stuff pretty well. But you don't have to answer these. You can click next to go on to the next one. And what you'll notice, there's some weird things on this page, like things that are bolded for no reason, right? I can tell you point blank that if we bolded something in the text, it is testable. Okay. And if we've asked the question down at the bottom, it's testable. Okay. So you're doing your best job going through the learning content, paying attention to anything that's bolded, paying attention to anything that's asked in these questions here. That's why they're here, is to kind of coach you up on getting through that course successfully. We don't get any benefit, or we're not proud if anybody fails the course. We want you to pass. Okay. This is very important to us. So we're trying to give you every tool possible to make that happen. We've even got some cool tools in here where you can actually bookmark pages if you want to come back and review something again. Okay. At the end, after you've taken your exam, so I've gone through all these sections, unlocked the exam, Let's go ahead and do that. And it will show my previous score. I got 100%, no big deal. I can click to do the test again if I want. Let's say I got an 84, and I think I could do better than that. I could certainly take it again. On any of the MECP branded exams, you have 3 chances to pass for no extra charge. Okay. If you do not pass in those 3 times, you can actually reset those 3 tries. And there is a charge for that. It's just an admin fee to kind of reset your progress. But we can reset those tries, no problem at all. It's pretty rare when somebody takes all 3 tries and needs another chance after that. We have had a few, but we just want to make sure that we've given you every possible, way to be successful in this. All right. On this feedback report, you can jot some notes down about things that you saw. If I got any wrong on this exam, it would show me what I got wrong. Okay. Keep in mind that our exams are built real time. So if you can get a theme here, verification's real time, legitimacy's real time, even your exam that's being built for you exclusively is real time. So when you click to access the exam, we're looking at the time you spent in the course. We've looked at how long you spent in each section. And the ones that you just clicked to open and moved on, we're probably going to ask you a lot of questions in those, right? If you spent some time going through Ohm's law and relays, maybe a little bit fewer questions in those sections because you probably have a handle on things. If you've answered successfully the questions on those pages, we'll ask fewer of those questions. If you just skipped through and didn't answer a bunch of those, we'll ask a bunch of those questions. So nobody ever takes the same exam. For each exam, we've got about a bucket of about 850 questions, and many of them are similar, different variations of the same question, but you'll never have 2 people take the same exam. Okay. Pretty wild stuff. On a renewal, so we do renew, and as mentioned, it's either a 1 or 2 year version. What you are doing is you're going to go through the course. There's less stipulations on going through and reviewing everything, but we will highlight anything that's been added or changed or updated. Okay. And on the renewal, you're going to be tested on anything that was added, edited, changed, updated, anything that you did poorly on the first time. Okay, so again, a real-time renewal certification test as well, right? So we're going to look at your performance in the first exam. So let's say I went through my expert level and I struggled a bit with logic gates, or I struggled a bit with relays. Just couldn't figure those out. And I barely snuck through, just getting enough right to pass, right? What we're going to look at is that renewal exam brings in some of those questions from that category as well, just to make sure that you're staying up on that, right? We don't want you to get in a lull and just kind of check in the same box just to do the same thing. We want you to get better all around. Okay. Make sense? Any questions for anything? Awesome. All right. Very talkative crowd. I love you guys. All right, so we've talked about the courses. Let's go back to that real quick, actually. I want to talk about all the different types. So as mentioned, the prerequisites, we have 1 track currently that's publicly available. We have others. We have about 30 courses right now that are not publicly available, and some of those have prerequisites, but you can't see those here. Unless you're dealing with a company that has those, you probably haven't had any exposure to that yet. But the installation track that we have that has prerequisites is the apprentice, which is the beginner. We're talking somebody with 0 to 1 year of experience, okay, should be able to get in and pass that course, right? This is a very good exam for somebody who is maybe on a probationary period. You want to bring them in, scoop them up, see if they're going to be a good tech, a good fit. This might be part of their 90-day probationary period, maybe as you're grooming them to be part of your company. It might be a good starter, spot for somebody that's just getting back into the industry, something like that, right? Skilled level does require apprentice to be active, and that includes that in that price. And then, of course, expert requires both of those and includes that in that price. But besides that installation track, one of the things that we focused on was making sure we were meeting you where you needed to be with your education. So some people were nervous about taking an MECP course because maybe they don't work on audio at all. Maybe they're up in the Northeast and they're simply remote start guys. That's all they ever work on is remote start and security. That's great. No problem. We have a security and convenience, which is keyless entry and alarm. We have this course dedicated to those guys. So there's no box enclosure sizes. There's no audio dynamics. There's no putting in speakers, no radio replacement, none of that stuff in this course. Okay. Fleet has taken off like a rocket for us. I can't believe how many Fleet installers are out there in the wild. But this is a really cool course, and it's focused specifically on being able to work on and administer fleet vehicles. These are light duty ones. These are not over the road trucks, so 18 wheelers or anything like that. These are service vans for local companies, UPS, FedEx type things, stuff like that, right? Pretty simple stuff. But this talks about making sure you're prepared for the job site if it's remote, making sure you're documenting any vehicle damages or status, anything like that, talking with a fleet manager on site to make sure you're talking about all the details. We go through the entire gamut of things that might affect that fleet installation. Okay. And we've got everything under the sun. So we mentioned sales earlier. The product technology specialist, this is what you'd be trying to get for your sales floor or anybody who's customer facing when they take a phone call. So somebody calls in and they're having an issue with a radio or a remote start or something like that. This course here can coach somebody up on dealing with some of the questions they're going to get asked about that technology or that installation, and maybe schedule them for service and be able to give a heads up to the technician or the owner of the shop on what's going to come in, what to expect when that vehicle arrives, right? So lots of really cool stuff there. Okay. We've really got everything under the sun right now. We've got a couple things coming. I don't know if you can see down here coming soon. We do have a marine and power sports course that I'm hoping is about 90 days or less away. And then we do have an EV and hybrid charging and maintenance one, which is a little bit different than the install side. This is going in managing and maintaining the actual charging stations. This might be anything from parking lots downtown in a big city to home installed chargers, right? So lots of cool stuff coming there. We want to make sure that you guys are equipped to really do anything related to a vehicle. Okay. So any questions on courses or what might be applicable for certain types of roles in the shop? I think that's a really important one for you guys to understand.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so my background was audio. I've been doing that for like a long time. I've stopped. I don't do that anymore. I work on breathalyzers. This is a thing that you put in your car.
Yep.
When people, drink and drive.
Yep.
And pretty much that's all I do. It's just a kill switch, super simple. But now with the new cars that are coming out, mild hybrids, electric EVs, that's where it becomes a challenge, because there's no no starter.
There's no starter, there's no neutral safety switch, all those fun things that you've always been able to rely on, right? Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So I've done Teslas are easy, that's not an issue. I figured out on some of the new Germans, the Rivian, that's giving me a little problem. I can't get to it yet, but what I'm saying, that's the type of work that I do. I'm still don't know what would be the right course for me. I mean, I don't care about audio, but I do care like about, alarms and stuff. I don't do those, but because of the kill switch and stuff like that, it gives me a little bit more knowledge. But I'm still, I don't know if the EV, it might work for me, because I don't know what the EV, if it's the EV, it's more for like, other stuff than what I'm looking for. And that's what I'm having a little bit of problem to try to choose the right course for me. I don't care to start from, apprentice, but that would be my question, to see if you can help me out and to guide me what would be best for me. But I can give you more information, but that just, the gist of it.
No, I've got exactly, you're probably right between 3 different courses, right? So you're probably going to have to take more than one to accomplish everything you want. But the advantage that I talked about earlier, I'm not sure how when you jumped on, but one of the advantages you have is once you're certified at one course, it's much less expensive to upgrade to another course. So the strategy here would be get the one that's most applicable to your daily work, which I think would be the light duty fleet one, because we handle a lot of those type of installs, especially with. By the way, it's not just for people that drink and drive. It's actually for anybody showing signs of depression. It's for post-traumatic stress disorder from military personnel, things like that. So it's actually a very, very common thing to go in vehicles in all markets, right? So, but yeah, light duty fleet would probably be the one I would start with for you. But you're talking about having a lot of mystery around the electric vehicles. I would say that the EV hybrid installation one would be beneficial. However, I think you're looking for data, not technique. So I would highly suggest, if you're working on those car vehicles, that you do get the EV hybrid specialist one, because you're going to be safer. You're not going to accidentally touch something or disconnect something that can be disruptive to the vehicle. However, you're probably looking for that one solution for that one car. Like, you figured out the Tesla, that's why you think those are easy now. And you're having a hard time figuring out the Rivian. The reason you can't figure out the Rivian is because Rivian doesn't publicize their vehicle technical information, right? So you have to dig for it, okay? Or get in there and actually test things. And on those vehicles, what we talk about in our course on the EV and hybrid one is that there are no kind of checks and balances on the starting system, right? You're actually in drive mode territory. That's what it's called on these electric vehicles. So you're trying to disable or disrupt the drive mode selection, right? And oftentimes it's more of a brake pedal solution. However, there are some inherent dangers with that, right? So you don't want to mess up a brake pedal connection, right? Or add resistance to something that has a real-time kind of regenerative braking system, right? So we go over that in the EV course, but like I think you're right between light duty and light duty fleet and EV. So probably both courses would benefit you and really kind of fast forward you on some of that knowledge. But I would do probably the fleet first, because it's probably more of your daily work, and then upgrade to the EV one. That'd be my strategy for you.
That's the light duty fleet service specialist.
Yeah, so the orange one that's on the screen here, this one here. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then after you accomplish this one, you have to accomplish the one to get the discount, right? So once you've accomplished this one, then you can upgrade to this one for a significantly reduced rate. Okay.
Okay. All right.
That would be the strategy I would take. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thanks for the question. That's a good one. Yep. Any other questions about courses, or what types of roles might be suited for each one? That's really good stuff. All right. So let's bounce back. I want to show off one more thing for you guys before we kind of wrap up here. I searched really hard to try to figure out how to make finding technicians easier. Okay. And I spent almost 18 months talking with careers.com, indeed.com, LinkedIn, you name it. I had so many meetings with these people trying to figure out a way to magnetically pull technicians and specialists into our industry, right? And at the end of the day, the truth of it was, we just don't warrant a big enough crowd of people for them to really spend the time working on that, right? Even for them just to add a category of vehicle technician was too much, because they just didn't know that they would ever fill that bucket, right? So if you search electrical technician, you're going to find anything from AC repair to solar panel installation on houses. None of it applies to vehicles, right? And if you put a job up on one of those career sites, you're going to get lost in that shuffle. You'll be one, job post out of thousands that are not even close to being related, right? So nobody's going to look for you there. Okay. So I decided to just create one from scratch. I wanted to create a career center that was focused 100% on our industry. Okay. So on our website here, either as a professional looking for a career opportunity, you can click this, or as an employer, if you want to find a technician or specialist, you can post a career opportunity. Both of those links take you to exactly the same spot. Okay. And that's this page here. So this is kind of like the golden goose, right? So you have the ability as an employer or store owner to post a new career opportunity for somebody. Okay. All you've got to do is click this button here and you'll fill out a form. That form is built and designed to require you to put enough information in there so we can build a proper job posting. Okay. And because listen, we want to make sure that you are as attractive as a career opportunity as you can be to these potential employees, right? So you're going to fill out that form. It's going to come to our admin team and we're going to wordsmith it. We're going to check for spelling and grammar errors. We're going to make sure your graphics look good, and then we will post it. Okay. So we'll do all that for you for free. Okay. Now you can get on this featured opportunity. It's a $25 charge. It's not that much money, but you can be on the rotator here for a featured one for $25. Okay. And we will leave your job up until it's filled. Okay. So you can leave one there. If you're looking for 3 or 4 people and you hire 2 and you still want to leave it up there, no problem. Okay. We do want you to contact us if you've filled all the roles. Okay. But you fill out this form and it's free. You don't have to do anything else. Let's say I'm a technician looking for a career, right? Or a job. I can search by category. I've got all these different categories here. I can search by a keyword, like Titan Motoring, I brought up as an example. Maybe they're hiring. I can look at a pay range, right? Lowest to highest. I can even look to see if MECP certification is recommended or required, right? Maybe I want to work on it, but I'm not there yet, right? So I want to know beforehand how to talk to this guy that I'm going to go work for possibly, right? As you scroll down, you can actually see, you or somebody looking for a job can see all the different categories here. Okay. Everything from detail technicians, right, to fleet technicians, performance specialists, paint protection, paint film guys, mobile techs, so fleet guys, right, sales reps, retail technicians. Let's go ahead and click on this one because there's a bunch of them. Lots of opportunities here, right? As you hover over any of these, it bounces on the map to show you exactly where it is. Okay. Easy enough. And as you click on it, it will bring up the entire job post. So here's some details about the job itself. Here's the contact information, the contact phone number, and some images that they wanted. It even shows somebody the map so they can find out how far it is away from them. Doesn't matter what it is, we've got it there for them. Okay. Now, if you go back, any one of these has the same information because we want to make sure that these guys are finding good information, right? Let's go back and pick another possible thing here. So Tint World has a bunch of different options here. Tint World is a pretty decent place. They've got a big chain. I mean, they're nationwide, obviously, actually worldwide now. But their pay range is high, and they're looking for somebody to come help them immediately, right? So all the contact information is there for you. Easy enough, right? So you can get on this as well. So if you're a store owner, retailer, store manager, whatever it is, and you're hunting for new technicians or specialists, go ahead and post a career opportunity there. Again, it's free, right? If you want to do the featured, great. Bless your heart. That's awesome. You don't have to, all right? If they're looking for a job, they may just scroll past and look at the categories anyway. So you do you, right? I don't care. But there's no reason not to have your job posted as an opportunity for people to find. Okay. Here's the cool part. Anybody who gets certified is already in our site. They're already using the tools that we have. They're checking our verification tool to make sure that they're verified. They're checking the retail locator to make sure that they're showing up on their location, all that good stuff. They're already using the tools on our site. Why not use the one tool that they're already looking at to post your new career opportunity? Okay. So it might be another way for you to attract new talent to your company. All right. So with that, I think that kind of wraps up. Yeah, we'll do that later. At the top of the MECB.com website, there's a pro shop link. So if you're looking for swag, anything that you want, MECP signs, stickers, we have these really cool verification stickers that you can put on your door or window. They're sunproof, waterproof, bulletproof, whatever. They're everything, and they stick on there, and they've got a verification QR code where they can verify your retail location. Okay, so make sure you're linked, right? And make sure your people are certified, because they'll verify them as they walk into your store. Okay, but it's a very cool tool. Little things like that. We've given you everything that you can kind of create your store environment and really kind of make it a great experience for the customer, right? And that's what we're looking for. Okay. So, George, I own my own business and taking the apprentice installation passed within my time, but when I go back to see my certification, it shows I did not complete the course. Okay, so I could probably look you up. Lynn, George, what's your last name? Just type it in there for me. So, Lynn, why don't you open up for other questions, see if anybody else has got one.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris. That was a really comprehensive presentation. I appreciate it. So yeah, I'll be quiet for just a minute in case anyone wants to unmute and say anything.
I would like to ask a question.
Okay, go ahead.
In general, I mean, I'm an installer for the last 14 years, having 4 guys, under me, but I don't have the patience, or I would say I have ADHD, and if I'll start reading a book with 500 pages, then I wouldn't follow through. Now seeing that you have so many courses and it's broken down by so many categories, I'm thinking, what is the options if I just want to take one category at a time, complete it, and then choose which one should be the next one? What is the dynamics versus going with one master?
So the MECP core courses, so apprentice, skilled, and expert, are very broad-based, not super deep. Okay, so whether you're apprentice, skilled, or expert level, and of course the skilled and expert have the prerequisite of the previous ones. They're very broad, but only so deep on any particular subject. So I would ask yourself, what do you need to learn more about in your daily routine? Or what type of new business are you trying to take on? Or what do you want to get more efficient at? What do you want to know the standards of? Those questions will help you identify the course really quickly. So, somebody mentioned they don't do audio anymore, right? They're doing the breathalyzer stuff. Okay, great. No reason for you to take the audio course, right? Also, really no reason for you to take the apprentice, skilled, or expert, because a quarter of that is audio related, right? But the apprentice, skilled, and expert don't go deep dive into some of the things he's going to need for his business, right? Which is that breathalyzer and the start stop stuff that he's got to do. So what you want to do is take the deep dive courses. Those are the specialist courses. So that fleet, and he was mentioning some EV stuff. That's why I mentioned the fleet to him first, and then told him to go ahead and upgrade to that EV course after that. That way he's getting the best of both worlds. The other thing that you mentioned, that you had some ADHD. So the way we've broken the courses up benefits somebody like yourself. So every bit of the content is completely different and rewritten to be like 99%, but most of it's 100% comprehensible. Okay, so you can get in there and understand what's written. Here's the cooler part: as you go through those sections of the course, they're broken up in small bits, and we're bolding the important points in that paragraph or two, and we're asking some questions in ways that reinforce what we've just told you in that text, right? Or what's reinforced in a diagram or picture that we're trying to show you. What I like to say is they're small bite-sized chunks, and it's much easier to eat a meal in small bite-sized chunks than just grab a whole steak and try to eat it, right? So I think it's probably going to benefit you to go into these courses the way they've been redesigned and attack them here, right? So what do you do? What's the core, thing that you do every day as the main types of installation?
So in general, we do, consumer electronics a lot. Remote starters, dash cameras, radar systems, audio systems, all of that. At the same time, I have my own solution for, in general, I'm using a access control system for emergency vehicles, which I combine 3 different solutions, which is access control, which is more from the industry, and then using the starter for the vehicle start and so on and forth. And that is all, I'm using my own knowledge, my own ideas and workarounds. And I'm doing that a lot, but at the same time, just to get the bloodline in, for the day-to-day cash flow, I need to keep my doors open for the day-to-day customers as well.
Okay. How many employees do you have?
3 full-time, 1 part-time.
Okay. How do you divide those jobs? I mean, I'm getting a little bit down in the weeds, but it's important for some of the other store owners and managers to understand why I'm asking these questions. So how do you split those jobs up? Does one guy do more audio when it's available, and one or 2 other guys do more of the other stuff? Or how do you break it up into sections like that? Or is everybody just full game?
So it naturally happened that all the guys, the more experienced guys, are taking the starters or taking the advanced installs, versus the newbies are more, window tinting and dash cameras, typical. But again, it really depends on the schedule, depends how fast it needs to be out of the door and so on.
So I might suggest that you dive in with a couple specialist courses for the guys that are heavier on those fronts. So we have the security specialist one. We have the fleet one. I think the fleet one would probably benefit 1 or 2 of your employees, right? Especially if you're doing multiple things with creating your own solution on those vehicles. The fleet one is going to be right up your alley because it's talking about integrating multiple systems into a vehicle, right? So I think that's going to be good for you. So I would dive into some specialist ones for those guys. The guys that are maybe the lower level, less experienced guys, get them in the apprentice, right? And see how they fare through that. As a company admin, you'll be able to see their telemetry and see how they're doing and get feedback from them. And then if they are inspired to, or you want to kind of push them to that next level, then after they've accomplished the apprentice, they've got a much less expensive upgrade path. Choose the next course for them, right? Say, let's do this one next. So now you're growing them on this education tree and not just saying, all right, here's what you're going to do, right? Because I think that's a little more inspiring to them to do that ongoing learning thing,
Yeah, and there's also, it gives them a deeper understanding, so make them happy.
For sure. Yeah, the base would be there with the apprentice, and then you can just kind of grow the tree from there, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay,
Good question. Yep.
Thank you. Now, I'm sorry for asking. Can I share my email address, and you should send me some literature or some startup guides how I can start signing up my people?
So let me see if I have access to this here. I think I can. I'm going to try to drop a getting started thing in the chat here, if you guys can bear with me for 2 seconds, which I think would be helpful for you. Yeah, let me do this here. Because I think that we've got a lot of questions, and some of this stuff is answered right in that book. It's a little PDF. It's easy to do. Let's see if I can grab it.
Also for Blitz Auto, I don't see membership under the name Blitz. It doesn't mean that it's not there, but in order to get the discounts, we would just want to sign you up for membership with MEA.
Okay. I mean, I did sign up with you guys like somewhere in between 5 to 8 years ago, but I haven't checked in.
Would it have been under that Blitz?
No, I'll probably be under my personal name.
Okay, yeah, we can talk offline about that.
Okay.
Do you want to put your email in the chat and I will shoot you a message?
Yes, I will.
Great.
So I'm trying to, I don't know if I can drop a document in here. It's not letting me for some reason. Do you know if I can drop a document in here, Lynn? I don't know if I can in the chat.
Into the chat?
Thought I could.
The plus sign down there?
Yeah, it's not letting me do it. It's just giving me options for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this to you, Lynn, and you can, since you can deal with them. Blitz, why don't you put your email in there for Lynn to have, and she can contact you directly about your membership and get you this guide. Okay.
Got it. Thanks. I got your email there.
Very good. Awesome. So Lynn will have this in just a few minutes here, and we'll get you taken care of. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Who else has anything before we tie up for tonight?
Quick question for you, Chris. Howard here with Vehicle Installs, Howard Miners Vehicle Installs. After being in the industry now over 30 plus years, I don't make myself look too old, but
there's always the
vehicle
guy that's been here 30 years.
Vehicle Installs is going on a 17-year anniversary. So we're just basically strictly mobile fleet. We do just all mobile fleet around the country, nationwide. Is there something for MECP that caters to manufacturers and resellers of fleet solutions that would be able to find us on your site? So we're not a store. We're not like a retail store now. So we're all over the place. We do, 1,500 school buses, 2,000 city transit buses. We just do large fleets. But is there somewhere that, we would be, what would be the advantage of a Vehicle Installs becoming a member? I mean, yeah, there would be in getting some of my guys certified, which I believe a handful of them are, but just kind of getting us to become a member. Give me the value in it for me.
So you're talking about finding more business for the manufacturers of the devices to find you to put them in, correct?
There you go.
Yeah. So you can be found on the retail locator because you don't have to be at a physical address. You can set a region or states that you are in. So you could be a solution provider in, I don't know where you're at, but if like Georgia and Florida seems to be a very common one in a lot of in a lot of people's jobs, right? So Georgia and Florida, we've got a couple guys that cover both states completely, or multiple guys there. So their company comes up as a solution provider in any zip code that's in those areas, right?
Okay, got it.
So it's up. I don't know that the
nice
manufacturer is going to be looking at that necessarily, so I can't speak about that.
Right.
But here's the funny part is you're probably going to get smacked right in the face with a certification soon anyway, because we're working with I think of the 30 other courses that are not publicly available, I think 17 are fleet device manufacturers. So you're going to end up running into it regardless.
No,
so,
I you know what? And I welcome it. I'll be 100% honest with you. I welcome that because everybody and their mom and their cousin and their sister and uncle are starting a fleet installation business. So
yeah, because it's easy, right?
that's cake, man. Everybody sign up today for it.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't have any. I welcome that. I love the competition. I love the the certification. It needs to be more regulated. That way you can kind of weed out who's who.
So
I'm
another
100%.
advantage, Howard, is as a company admin, you control your presence on our retailer locator, right? Or your solutions provider locator, whatever you want to call it, the locator tool on our site. You can actually hide, and this was developed because one of our fleet customers, the solutions guy, covered all of Texas. And he didn't want any of his guys that worked for him as contractors to be poached by other fleet companies in Texas, right? So he wants to be a solution provider and have the contact information there, but doesn't want a list of his people there, right? So you can toggle to hide your people on that on and off. What we'll do is give stats on, yes, this company has certified technicians, and here's the levels they have and how many people at each level, but it hides all their names and faces and all that stuff, right? So you can toggle that on and off yourself. So it might protect you a little bit too,
Oh, that sounds good. I was actually looking at it to try to grab some text, but then that's good. It'll protect me.
So some of them are hiding them. So get on it fast, right?
All right, look out for us. I'm going to pass the name on. I'm going to pass the information on to our admin in the back office and get us signed up. And
awesome.
can start adding it back to our business cards, MECP and
Great stuff.
just an ASC. We have that on there too.
And,
So we'll add
anytime you guys need anything, so it's MECP at MECP.com. It's easy to remember. That's the general email box. It essentially goes to the same team, but the administrator at MECP.com, that's really for our account holders.
Okay.
So once you guys get started with us, use the administrator at MECP.com because
Okay.
that's a higher level on our admin team, right? So, and that allows us to get you graphics for cards and anything that you need to help kind of market the system. We've got really cool QR code graphics that will go on your vans where they can verify your certification status right there. Scan the van, and they know that the guy in there is certified. It's pretty awesome.
Okay, I look forward to it. Joining you guys, coming back on. We've been years since I've been directly affiliated, back in the shop days.
Awesome.
So
I'm looking forward to it,
getting
man.
back to you. Thank
Very
you,
good.
guys. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Right.
All right, Lynn, you got anything else?
No, this is great. Thank you very much. And for anyone that is not a member on this call and you want to join, I did put the link in the chat, but also please feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me at lynn.sweezy. My name is spelled just below, lynn.sweezy@mobile-electronics.com. I'll put that in the chat as well. But thank you all for being here so much. If you have any questions, reach directly out to me. And I'm always happy to help. Thank you, Chris, for being here and for putting in the time tonight to make sure everyone understands how important this is.
For sure. Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate all of you guys being here tonight and learning a little bit more about the program. I'm happy to help you guys with whatever you need. All right.
All right, awesome. Well, we hope to see you guys at Knowledge Fest Atlantic City or Dallas later this year. Well, have a great night, and we will all chat soon. Take
All
care.
right.
Thanks.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye, everyone.